Sam Darnold spent a lot of years in New York and Carolina, and then he caught Kyle Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell's eye. What did Andy Dufresne say? He found freedom after 500 yards of you know what? Yeah. He went through that same kind of tunnel. Sam Darnold's a good guy, never played the victim, kept improving, got along with teammates, respectful to coaches. Same with Matt Stafford. Do you know if Matt Stafford gets to the Super Bowl, he will have more playoff wins than the Detroit Lions franchise ever. And Darnold, with last Saturday's win, has more playoff wins than the Jets in the last, 15 years. So quarterback's a unique position. Stoicism matters. Don't get too high, don't get too low. And I would say Stafford, stoic. Darnold, stoic. Both this year combined, 7-1 after losses. They just don't get high. They just don't get low. And one of the things I love about football, it builds character. Practice is hard. You're playing hurt by week 3. You're playing in terrible weather. And you don't think of quarterback as like a physical position. But Justin Herbert was hit 129 times this year. And I looked this morning at Matt Stafford's career injuries. Knee injuries, multiple shoulder injuries, multiple hand injuries, herniated discs, back issues, and concussions. And that's what we know about. But it's also a mental game because only 2 people have to show up to the podium, win or lose every week. Head coach, quarterback. That's it. Edge rusher, receiver can hide. So you've got to be the guy, and you got to be stoic, and you can't start fires, and you can't complain. Stoicism is a real gift. And, I think when I look at Stafford, he was 13 years. Aaron Rodgers got mad. He get mad after I roll Mike McCarthy in Green Bay after a bad series. Stafford had 13 years of dealing with second-tier stuff. Head down, self-improvement, be the best teammate you can be. You'll find your kingmaker. He found McVay. And it's the same thing with Darnold. So, I look at these two. One took 12 years in Detroit, one 5.5 years, Carolina. And it's just impossible to not root for Darnold and Stafford for me. Here was Sean McVay on facing, once again, the Seahawks defense, 3rd time this year.
I give Mike and their coaching staff and John Schneider, they have vision for players that are these jokers that allow you to basically be able to be stout enough against the run, but still really good in coverage, where a lot of the explosives come up. They've got a vision for guys, and they can be stout against the run versus what they would say is typically most people would just look at it and say it's a lighter grouping.
Yeah, they don't miss on draft picks. A lot of what Seattle does is because they have a plan. A lot of what the Rams do is because they have a plan. You're not just drafting players. You're drafting employees that fit into your culture. That's why it's so important when you hire McVay and Mike McDonald, very similar people, that you got to build the culture. Oh, it's about building the roster. There's a reason so many teams miss on draft picks. It's not that the players aren't any good. They often leave and go other places and fit. You gotta hire a CEO who can build a culture, and then you're drafting employees to fit into your culture. That's what Vrabel gets in New England. They got like 5 rookies making an impact in New England. If you gave them the wrong coach, those 5 rookies wouldn't make that impact. It was not a very good draft last year. By left tackle standards, Will Campbell was okay. By great, like this year has, I would imagine, the 2 of the top left tackles this year are like really high-end prospects. Will Campbell, his arms are a little short for left tackle. He's good, but it was not a very good draft last year. One of the weaker I can remember, and yet the Patriots have 5 guys, 5 rookies, who actually are making an impact. Why?
Okay. Let's focus on the Seahawks and the Rams, not the Patriots. It's not just culture. Culture is huge, but I talk about this again and again and again. These coaches, great coaches, know how to put players in positions to succeed. That's the foundation of it all. You can have great culture. If you can't put the player in a position to succeed, you lose them. You lose the culture. It's that simple. Players want to win. Players want to succeed. These players, especially the ones that just get it, that just understand a lot of them have gone throughout their entire careers, their entire lives from 5 years old upwards. They understand the importance of coaching. They understand that it's the coaches that are, especially in football, who are obviously calling plays in a way that you're not necessarily maybe seeing in like a baseball or basketball to as much to a degree, but they understand that they need to be put in positions to succeed, that they have to be given the answers to the problems that arise. And so it's really easy. Let's look at Diggs, for instance, and him going to New England. You have the culture, but then you also have being put in positions to succeed. If someone like a Diggs was being able to be put into a position to succeed again and again and again with Buffalo, you get a much different version of a Diggs. In New England with Josh McDaniels, he's being put in a position to succeed, and the leadership of Rail, it just fits. If Diggs isn't touching the ball, if Diggs is not getting connected in that offense, he's not a great soldier. You have all these rookies there that are all excited and ready to be put. If they're not getting put in positions to succeed, then what are you getting out of them? What are you getting out of them? And this is something that the Rams and the Seahawks do so well. And of course, the Los Angeles Rams with McVay, there's just a longer track record of them doing it than with Seattle currently. And that's why the Rams can bring in an OBJ and a Von Miller and whatnot in the middle of the season and have an immediate impact. Bring in a Devontae and have this immediate impact. And when you are winning and when you have the culture, yeah, you can now bring in young guys. You can bring in guys that have, that are a little rough around the edges, whatever it may be, and find ways to win and make them work and make them work. And so, but you can't just say it's culture. Bayal was the coach of Tennessee. A.J. Brown had to get out of there, got to Philadelphia, immediately went to a Super Bowl. Literally that year that he was traded, went immediately to a Super Bowl. And then the year later, 2 years later after that, won the Super Bowl. Now he's not being put in a position to succeed as much. He's unhappy. And it's not just a numbers game. It's not just a stats game. I know that's like an easy, a simplified way to kind of look at it. But it's just look at it more through the lens of, are you being put in a position to succeed? Are you being in a position to succeed? And that's what the Seattle Seahawks are doing as well with Sam Darnold, Clint Kubiak, Jackson Smith, and Jigba Cup, et cetera, and that entire defense. I don't even want to single out a single name on that defense, quite frankly, because that is a unit. That is a unit. They used to reduce the Legion of Boom. I feel like really for 3 guys or so, how wherever you wanted to draw the line around that, this is going to be the corniest thing I've ever said. But for the Seahawks, it's the Legion of Doom. It's the entire team. It really is. Specifically, I'm looking at the defense side of the ball. They are a unit. They are a unit. And they got that great culture, and they got the next man up mentality. They got that intensity. They are all so locked in and focused. And that's not just culture. That's because Mike Macdonald knows how to put them in positions to succeed. And so when you're drafting employees, as Colin's putting it, it's like, no, you're finding the guys that you can put in positions to succeed. And when you have that clarity, you know which guys to get. That's why a Fangio, again, it's not culture. That's why Fangio can say, I like what Zach Bond can do. I can turn him into a special defender. I like that. I can maximize him. I can turn that guy into an all-pro. They can bring in a Becton who's doing nothing in New York and be like, I can make this guy a great offensive lineman. Chargers don't have a bad culture. He went over to LA, couldn't do it. See, the culture is not bad in LA with Harbaugh at all. Just didn't have the players that can put him in a position to succeed. And lo and behold, they fire their coordinator, bring in a new coordinator. Players need to know how to be put in positions to succeed. It's honestly, it's like children. It really is when you have a kid. Again, whether it's your kid, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a coach, when you're interacting with younger kids, when things get weird, when they are acting out, they're too wild, whatever it is, they're complaining, they're bratty. It's like you're not putting them in positions to succeed. When you create the environment to put them in a position to succeed, as simple as sit down, we're going to eat dinner, It's time for lunch. Like I'm talking about even like the little things of just like how to get through the day. It's the structure. It's the structure, but also understanding how to navigate that and knowing that it can't be too militant because then it gets too contracted. And I think that's what really both these teams have shown to be able to do at such a high level. And it's no surprise that they're both in the NFC Championship game right now. The biggest thing is that the Rams just have that head start because they've had Stafford and company for years. McVay has been a head coach for years, multiple Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl win, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why I put so much, and this is really my true take going into this game. I really put it all on the shoulders of Mike Macdonald. Do you put your players in this game in the ultimate position to succeed? Do you get that job done? Do you call that timeout at the right time? 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 3rd and 4, Stafford with the ball, and you know exactly what you want to do here, and you swallow it up. There's nowhere for Stafford to go with the ball. He's now flushed out of the pocket, and now you just know that he's just throwing the ball, and it's just one of those out-of-bound hits the receiver in the hands, but it's like not even there's zero chance of it being completed, and it's just everyone's falling down the, out of bounds. It's like, are you putting these guys in a position to succeed? Because that's who I'm looking at. That's who I'm looking at. I'm not looking at roster construction in this moment of time, not even looking at Sam Darnold and Clint Kubiak. I'm looking at Mike Macdonald. This is your opportunity to put on a master class. You got the roster. We know you got the talent from a coaching perspective. Can you bring it in this specific game, in this game plan, in this moment? That's what I'm looking at because that's what it's up to Sean McVay. Sean, it's like Sean McVay, you are the guy. Do you set up Stafford, Puka, etc. for success? Yes or no? Do you have answers for what Macdonald is looking to do? So this game largely to me gets reduced down to more between Macdonald and McVay rather than Kubiak and Shula. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be a fascinating matchup as well, but at the end of the day, I'm most zoomed in on Mike Macdonald. What do you got? Sean McVay, I know what you got, but do you keep doing it against Mike Macdonald? Yes or no? And maybe Clint Kubiak puts on a masterclass as well, which he's been awesome, but it's just, I'm looking at it through Mike. That's why both those coaches are on the screen. It's like, Mike Macdonald, what do you got? What do you got? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams? How they've been able to build what they've been able to build? Who do you think has the edge? What matchup are you most interested in looking at? Who do you like if where this game is won or lost outside of the whole, Sam Darnold, we got to see what he does. We know that that's kind of the most common take, and understandably so. But I guess beyond that, it's how are you looking to see how this game will be won or lost? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, so you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions, get in some fights, but ultimately let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help with visibility in the algorithm. Thank you so much.